Hello, I am Nancy Stohlman, and I'm here to answer your questions about flash fiction. So today's question is, uh, your Loch Ness story is one of my favorite flashes. Where did it come from? So thank you very much. It's incredibly flattering, and I am going to answer your question, but I thought I would use this as an opportunity to talk about inspiration in general and where do stories come from. So I've talked in previous videos, and I talk about this a lot. I really feel like we are the midwives of the story and not the other way around, not the creators, not the genius behind the story, but we're really the humble servant of the story, so to speak. And so for me, where those beautiful, great ideas come from is philosophical, it's esoteric. But I do think that for me, the best thing that I can do is to be ready for when the stories do arrive. So what that means, well, it's a little bit like sports. And I'm not a sports person, so bear with me on my metaphor here, but you practice and you practice and you practice and you train and you run those drills many, many, many times, and you practice that throw many times and you catch a million times, and all of this is really so that you are ready to catch the ball in that one opportunity that you're going to get in the future that's going to be that important moment, right? And so for me, it's a little bit the same thing with writing. So we don't know when the ball's going to come. We don't know when the muse is going to send us an amazing story. The only thing that we can do is be ready. And so for me, being ready means that I am writing every day, or at least showing up every day, or most every day. And this doesn't mean sitting down and writing something beautiful. It means that I'm practicing. Most of the time it's in my journal. I keep just notebooks, journals I write by hand every day, or just about every day. And to me, that's the same as the sports practice. So I practice my writing every day so that I am in shape for when the inspiration arrives, if that makes sense. So I think the best thing we can do is to show up often and practice the craft. I think a lot of people feel like, well, I don't really have an idea right now, so what am I going to sit down and do? I'm going to wait for the idea, and then I'm going to sit down and do it. But to me, I think that's backwards. I think that the ideas show up for the people who are in shape and ready to catch them and to receive them, being the right kind of person for the story to arrive to. There's an interview that I read with Tom Waits, and if you know me, you know I love Tom Waits, and he was talking kind of about this idea of the muse, or in his case, the song arriving to him, not him being the creator of the song. And so he was telling the story about driving, and he's like, I'm driving, and a song comes to me, and I turn to the song and I say, I'm driving, I can't write you down, go bother Leonard Cohen. God rest his soul, Leonard Cohen. And I just thought it was so funny because, yes, like, I think that the stories choose the people who are most apt to capture them and to put them down and to bring them to life. And so we can't possibly be the person to catch the ball if we haven't been practicing catching over and over and over and over. So that's kind of where I think inspiration comes from. My Loch Ness story is a perfect example of this because I wrote the story when I was in England. So I was at the Flash Fiction Festival. I was in Bristol, England. I was surrounded by people with beautiful accents of all sorts. So British accents and a lot of Scottish accents. So I think perhaps the Scottish accent was making me think about Scotland and how I want to go to Loch Ness someday. And the most important thing, though, is that I had been just on a writing sabbatical for the previous 3 weeks. And so I had been writing and writing and writing and writing every day, some good, some bad, but I was really practiced. I was really toned and ready. And so for me, I think when that idea came, I was just ready to grab it. And it was one of those stories that I wrote from beginning to end in about 5 minutes. those are the beautiful, magical gifts from the muse that we can only wish to have more of. And so, yeah, so that's where that story came from, but that's kind of my bigger philosophy around being ready to receive the inspirations when they arrive, and just trusting that when you're ready, the story will find you. So I hope that that's helpful. Thanks so much. And oh, and I will link the anthology from the Flash Fiction Festival where that story came below. And I hope you are inspired, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks.